The guardian's roar shook the chamber like thunder. Dust rained down from the ceiling as its massive body forced its way through the ruins. Its single red eye blazed with fury. Locking onto the child glowing in Raylan's arms, Raylan tightened his grip, holding her close against his chest. He could feel her warmth now, no longer fading, but burning like a small star. Her eyes glowed with a strange light, part human, part alien, and in their depths, he saw something that made his chest ache. Trust. The mother stepped forward. Her limbs stretched like blades, her body trembling from blood loss, but her eyes blazing with fire. "She will live," she said firmly, her voice echoing in the chamber. "Even if I die." The guardian's claws slammed against the ground, sending cracks across the stone. It was more than a machine. It was a monster born from war. A weapon built to end hope. Raylan raised his pistol, though he knew it was useless. The guardian was too strong. But he wasn't fighting alone. The child stirred in his arms. Her tiny hand lifted, glowing brighter with each second. The blue veins across her skin pulsed, and the light spread to Raylan too. His armor shimmered faintly, as if her power was flowing into him. He gasped. "She's sharing it." The guardian roared again and lunged forward. The mother met it head-on, her claws slicing across its chest. Sparks and flesh tore, but the monster didn't stop. It swiped with its massive arm, throwing her against the wall. She fell with a cry, blood staining the stone. Raylan's rage flared. He stood firm, aiming his pistol with one hand while holding the child with the other. But before he could fire, the child spoke again. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the chamber like a bell. "Don't fight alone." The light from her body exploded outward, wrapping around Raylan. His weapon glowed brighter, humming with strange energy. His arms felt stronger, his chest lighter, his vision sharp. The guardian swung its claw at him. Raylan raised the pistol and fired. The blast was no longer human plasma. It was mixed, blue and white, burning with the child's power. The shot tore through the guardian's armor, forcing it back with a scream. Raylan's eyes widened. "Together, we can fight it." He stepped forward, firing again and again. Each shot struck harder, powered by the child's light. The guardian staggered, its red eye flickering. The mother rose, limping but fierce. She joined the attack, her claws slicing deep into the monster's wounded chest. Together, human and alien fought side by side, driven by the child's glow. But the guardian was not finished. With a furious roar, it slammed its claws into the ground. The entire chamber cracked, stone shattering. The floor breaking apart. Raylan stumbled, clutching the child close as the ground split beneath them. The mother grabbed his arm, pulling him back from the edge of a pit that opened into endless darkness. The guardian loomed above them, broken but not defeated. Its red eye burned hotter, brighter, fueled by hate. The child's glow grew blinding, filling the chamber. She raised her tiny hand again, and her voice came clear. Stronger than before, no more. Her light burst outward like a wave. The guardian screamed as the energy consumed it, tearing through its body. Metal melted, flesh burned, and its red eye shattered into sparks. With one final roar, the monster collapsed. Crashing into the pit below, silence followed. Raylan fell to his knees, holding the child close. His chest heaved, his body trembling with exhaustion. The mother collapsed beside him, her body shaking but her eyes fixed on her child. The child's glow dimmed, settling into a soft light. She looked up at Raylan, her small hand touching his face. Her eyes, one blue, one brown, blinked slowly. "Father," she whispered again. Raylan's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it, to say it wasn't possible. But when he looked into her eyes, he felt it a bond deeper than blood. The mother reached out, her voice breaking. "She is not just mine. She is ours." Raylan opened his mouth to reply, but the chamber shook again. Not from the Guardian. From above, he looked up. Through the cracks in the ceiling, lights appeared. Not red this time, but white. Ships, dozens of them. Human ships. His blood ran cold. They had found him. The mother hissed, pulling her child close. No, they cannot take her. They will end her. Raylan's scanner lit up with signals, human frequencies, encrypted but clear. A voice crackled through his communicator. Captain Raylan. Stand down. Deliver the specimen. Raylan froze. Specimen, not child, not life. Specimen. His hands shook with rage. He looked at the mother, her eyes burning with fury and fear. He looked at the child, her small body trembling, her glow fading again. And he knew. The real choice wasn't finished. It was just beginning. Raylan lifted the child higher, his voice low but steady. She's not a specimen. She's hope. And no one is taking her. Above, the ships moved closer, their shadows swallowing the ruins. The story of one human, one alien, and one child was far from over. It was only the beginning of war. The wall split open with a deafening crack. Red light poured into the sanctuary chamber, burning like fire in the mist. The hunters had found them. Their metallic roars filled the air, a chorus of hate that shook the ground. Raylan didn't think. He grabbed the child, holding her tight against his chest. Her faint glow pulsed against his armor, as if her heartbeat was syncing with his own. The alien mother stood beside him, her limbs stretched wide, claws glinting in the light. "Run," she whispered. And then the chamber exploded into chaos. The hunters burst through the broken stone, their claws tearing apart ancient walls. Their red eyes locked onto the child, ignoring everything else. The mother lunged forward with a cry of rage, her blades slicing into the nearest machine. Sparks flew, metal screeched. Raylan sprinted through the narrow side tunnel, his breath ragged inside his helmet. Dust rained from above. The ground shook with every step of the hunters behind him. The tunnel twisted and bent, leading deeper into the ruins. Strange blue markings lit up on the walls as he passed, responding to the child's glow. For a moment, Raylan felt like the tunnels were alive, guiding him. But the hunters were fast. Their claws clanged on the stone floor, their shrieks echoing like death itself. The mother appeared beside him, blood dripping from cuts across her arms. "Faster," she hissed. Raylan pushed his legs harder. His lungs burned, but he didn't stop. He knew if the hunters caught them, the child's secret would end here. Suddenly, the tunnel split in two. The mother pointed left without slowing. "This way. Trust me." Raylan didn't argue. He followed, ducking under falling debris as the tunnel shook again. Behind them, one of the hunters smashed into the wall, forcing its massive body through. They burst into a vast cavern. The ceiling stretched high, glowing faint green. Broken towers leaned at strange angles, remnants of a city long dead. Raylan skidded to a stop, boots sliding across loose stone. The path ahead split again, one side rising into the open air, the other dropping into darkness. Which way? He demanded. The mother's eyes flicked to the child in his arms. "She will guide us," Raylan blinked. "What do you mean?" Before he could finish, the child stirred. Her small hand twitched, glowing brighter than before. The light pulsed toward the downward path. Raylan's breath caught. "She's showing us." The mother nodded, her voice fierce. "Then we follow." They raced downward into the dark. The tunnel narrowed, forcing them to duck and crawl. Behind them, the hunters slammed into the cavern. Their shrieks rose higher, furious. One hunter forced its way into the tunnel, its claws scraping the walls as it crawled after them. Its red eyes glared through the dark, closing in. Raylan fired his plasma pistol over his shoulder. The blasts lit up the tunnel in flashes of blue. The shots hit the hunter, slowing it, but not stopping it. The machine roared and lunged forward again. The mother turned, slashing with her claws. Sparks flew as she struck its head, knocking it back just enough to buy time. "Keep moving." She shouted. Raylan crawled faster, clutching the child to his chest. The tunnel shook as more hunters forced their way inside. The sound of metal grinding against stone grew louder, closer. Finally, the tunnel opened into another chamber. This one was smaller, but strange. The walls glowed with lines of blue light, forming symbols like ancient writing. At the center stood a broken pillar, still humming with faint energy. The child's glow grew brighter. Almost answering the pillar, Raylan placed her gently on the stone floor. The light from her veins spread outward, touching the lines on the wall. The chamber came alive, glowing brighter, humming with strange power. The mother's eyes widened. This place. It remembers her. The hunters screeched at the tunnel entrance. Their claws tore through the stone as they forced themselves inside. Raylan grabbed his weapon again, but the mother stopped him. "Wait, look at her." Raylan turned. The child's small body floated inches above the floor, glowing like a star. Her eyes were still closed, but her energy filled the chamber. The walls pulsed with her light. The hunters charged. But as they stepped into the chamber, the walls flared bright blue. A wave of energy exploded outward, slamming into the machines. Their metal bodies sparked and screamed, thrown against the walls like toys. Raylan shielded his face from the blast. The air vibrated, heavy with power. When the light faded, the hunters lay smoking on the ground. Their red eyes dim. Raylan's chest heaved. She did that. The mother's eyes glistened with tears. Yes, she is waking. Raylan looked at the child, floating still, glowing like fire and starlight. His hands shook. He had never seen anything like it. She was fragile and small, yet carried a power that could destroy machines built for war. But before relief could settle, a new sound echoed through the ruins. Louder, deeper. A roar, not of machines, but something older. Something alive. The mother's face hardened. The Guardians know. They will send worse. Raylan lifted the child back into his arms, her glow dimming again as exhaustion took her. He tightened his grip. His voice was low but firm. "Then we keep running. We don't stop. Not until she's safe." The mother met his eyes. For a moment, no words passed, only a shared vow. The ground rumbled beneath them. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something massive was coming. Raylan turned to the tunnel ahead. "Then let's move." Together, the human and the alien mother ran once more, carrying the child who was more than either of them, the child who was hope and behind them. In the broken city of ruins, the unseen danger grew darker, stronger, and closer. The ruins groaned like a wounded beast. Every stone seemed ready to fall, every shadow alive with danger. Raylan and the alien mother pressed forward through a narrow tunnel, the child held close in Raylan's arms. Her glow had faded, but her tiny chest still rose and fell. Each breath was fragile, like a candle about to die. The mother's steps grew heavy. Blood ran from deep wounds across her side, but still she forced herself onward. Her eyes never left the child. Raylan's heart pounded. His scanner blinked with a harsh warning. The child's life signs were dropping again. She needed more than what his kit could give. He knew it. The stim shots and pulses were only buying time. "We can't keep running," he muttered, his voice cracking with exhaustion. "She won't survive it." The mother turned to him, her face fierce despite the pain. "Then save her. You carry the key. Do not let her go." Raylan clenched his jaw. He looked down at the child, so small in his arms. Her veins glowed faintly blue, flickering weakly. She looked almost human, the curve of her face, the tiny hand resting against his chest. And yet, she was more. A bridge between two species, a secret worth killing for. The tunnel opened into a chamber, unlike the others. At its center stood an ancient machine, half buried in stone, glowing with faint life. It looked like a cradle, shaped to hold something small. The air around it hummed with power. The mother's eyes widened. The life engine. It still lives. Raylan frowned. What is it? She moved closer, her hand brushing the ancient surface. A gift from the first makers. It can restore. It can awaken. But only if she accepts it. Raylan stared at the machine. It looked alien, dangerous, unpredictable. His instincts screamed against it. His training told him never to trust alien technology without control. But his gaze returned to the child. Her breaths were slowing. Her glow dimmed. His chest tightened. She's slipping away. The mother's voice was sharp now. Place her inside. Trust her blood. Trust your own. Raylan hesitated. He looked at his medical kit, his human tools. He could try one last desperate treatment, but it might not work. It might even end her. The life engine might save her. Or destroy her. Two paths. No certainty. Only choice. He whispered, almost to himself, if I choose wrong. The mother cut him off. If you do nothing, she dies. Her words echoed in the chamber like a strike of lightning. Raylan knelt beside the life engine. He placed the child gently inside the cradle. The machine hummed louder, glowing brighter, as if it recognized her. Blue light spread across its surface, weaving into the lines of her veins. The child stirred, a faint sound escaping her lips. Raylan's breath caught. The mother fell to her knees beside them, her eyes shining with tears. Awaken, little star, she whispered, but the chamber shook violently. A roar thundered from the tunnels. Not the shriek of hunters. Something deeper. Something alive. Raylan's head snapped up. Dust rained from the ceiling. The sound grew closer, like the heartbeat of a giant. The mother's face went pale. The guardian. They have sent it. Raylan's blood froze. If the hunters were monsters, then this was worse. Something built to end everything. The life engine's glow brightened, wrapping the child in light. Her body floated higher inside the cradle. Her eyes flickered beneath closed lids. Raylan stepped closer, torn between awe and fear. Come on, stay with us. The ground split. A massive claw punched through the wall. A creature larger than any machine they had faced forced its way into the chamber. Its body was twisted metal and flesh, glowing with red fire. Its single eye blazed like a sun of hate. The mother stood, her limbs rising despite her wounds. She looked at Raylan with fierce, desperate eyes. Finish it. No matter what, do not stop. She is the future. Raylan's breath came hard, his heart hammering. He looked at the child, glowing brighter now, light spilling from her small hands. Her chest rose, stronger, fuller. She was fighting. The chamber trembled with every step of the machines. Their metallic claws scratched against the ruins, each sound echoing like thunder. Red beams of light cut through cracks in the broken stone, searching, hunting. Raylan knelt beside the child, his hands shaking as he checked the faint pulse again. Still weak. Still slipping away. The mother stood at the tunnel entrance, her body tense, her sharp limbs extended. Ready to strike. Stay back, she whispered, her voice deep and raw. They smell fear. They see heat. They do not stop. Raylan's throat tightened. What kind of monsters are these? He glanced at his scanner. It showed 3 signals moving closer. Their energy levels were unnatural, far beyond anything he had seen. The first shadow appeared. A tall figure stepped into the tunnel, not alive, not truly machine, something in between. Its body was black metal twisted with flesh. Wires pulsed like veins under its skin. Its head was smooth and faceless, except for two burning red eyes. Raylan's stomach turned. These were no simple hunters. They were predators built for one purpose: to erase. The creature let out a metallic shriek. The sound pierced the chamber, making the walls vibrate. The child stirred weakly, as if the noise pained her even in sleep. The mother growled back, her voice fierce. "You will not have her." She leaped forward, her limbs flashing like blades. The first strike cut across the hunter's chest, sparks flying. But the machine did not fall. It staggered back, then lunged with claws sharp enough to tear through stone. Raylan's heart pounded. He forced himself to look away from the fight and back at the child. He could not waste time. The child's breath was shallow, her skin glowing faintly along the strange blue veins. He pulled out another stim. His medical kit beeped in warning. Too risky, too unstable. But he had no choice. He pressed the injector into her tiny arm. The glow in her veins pulsed brighter for a moment. Her chest rose higher. But still, her eyes did not open. The mother's roar filled the chamber. Raylan turned. She was locked in combat with two hunters now, her limbs slashing, her movements fast but desperate. Sparks and blood mixed in the air. She fought like a warrior. But Raylan could see it. She was being pushed back. Another shadow appeared at the far end of the chamber. A third hunter, larger than the others. Its red eyes locked on Raylan. His breath caught. "It's coming for me." The hunter stepped closer, slow and deliberate. Raylan raised his pistol, a small plasma sidearm, barely enough against something like this. He fired. The blast struck its chest, leaving only a scorch mark. The machine tilted its head, as if mocking him. Then it moved faster, claws cutting through the air. Raylan stumbled back, shielding the child with his body. He fired again and again, each shot slowing the hunter, but not stopping it. His weapon overheated, hissing in his hand. The child's body glowed brighter, reacting to the chaos around her. Her small hand twitched. A faint spark of light flickered from her fingers. Raylan's eyes widened. What was that? The hunter lunged. At the same moment, the spark from the child's hand shot outward, a burst of blue energy that slammed into the machine. The impact sent it crashing into the wall, metal cracking and screeching. Raylan froze in shock. The child lay still again, her glow fading, but the damage was done. She had released something powerful. Something human and alien combined. The mother saw it too. Her eyes widened with both fear and hope. She is awakening. But there was no time to celebrate. The other hunters roared, their red eyes burning brighter. They moved faster, their claws tearing into the walls. Determined to reach the child, Raylan grabbed her small body and held her close. "Come on, little one. Stay with me." The mother leaped back into the chamber, bleeding from deep cuts across her dark skin. Her limbs shook, but her eyes blazed with fury. "They will not stop," she said, panting. "Not until she is dead." Raylan's chest tightened. Why? Why do they want her so badly? The mother's voice broke. "Because she is proof. Proof that your kind and mine can be one. To them, that is forbidden." Her words sank deep into him. Proof. Forbidden. Suddenly, Raylan understood. This child was not just a hybrid. She was a threat to someone's control. A symbol of unity that could shatter old wars. The machines roared again. Their claws scraped closer, sparks flying as they tore down the walls. The chamber would not hold much longer. Raylan stood, the child cradled in his arms. His eyes met the mother's. "We can't stay here. We need to move." She nodded, her breathing heavy. There is a path. Deeper, a sanctuary. The walls cracked, dust falling from above. The red light of the hunters poured in like fire. The mother raised her limbs once more. Raylan held the child close, his jaw tight. His heart racing. The chase was about to begin. And in that moment, Raylan knew the truth. They were not just running for survival. They were running with the future of two worlds in their hands. The tunnels stretched on like veins through the ruined world. Raylan ran, holding the child close, his boots striking against the stone floor. Behind him, the hunters' shrieks echoed, metal grinding on stone as they clawed through the walls. The alien mother moved quickly, even with her wounds. Her tall figure glided through the shadows, her glowing eyes scanning every turn. She knew the ruins well, guiding him deeper and deeper. Finally, they slipped into a hidden chamber. The walls glowed faint blue, alive with strange energy. The air here felt heavier, humming with quiet power. The mother lowered her voice. They cannot find us here. For a short time, this place hides us. Raylan placed the child on a smooth stone slab at the chamber's center. The surface lit up beneath her, glowing like it was responding to her presence. The faint blue veins across her skin shimmered brighter, pulsing with life. Raylan stared, his breath heavy. She's connected to this place. He opened his scanner again, passing it over the child's small body. The screen filled with data, strange, complex patterns. But one part caught his eye again. Human code. He whispered, almost to himself. No. It's impossible. The mother turned to him. Her voice was low, almost like a confession. Not impossible, real. She is part of you. Raylan looked up sharply. Part of me. What do you mean? The mother placed her hand on the child's chest, her clawed fingers trembling. Long ago, your kind came here. They studied us, took from us, mixed us with themselves. They wanted power. They wanted control. Raylan's blood ran cold. You're saying? Humans made her? The mother's eyes glistened. Yes, they created her in secret. But when they saw what she was, they grew afraid. They called her forbidden. They wanted her destroyed. Raylan's heart pounded. He thought of the hunters. Those machines? They were sent by humans. She shook her head slowly. No, worse. They are the guardians of the old war. Machines born from hate, made to erase anything that breaks the laws of separation. Raylan looked down at the child. Her chest rose and fell, weak but steady. A tiny hand twitched, almost reaching for him. For a moment, she looked so much like a human child that it hurt his chest. He whispered, "Why call me? Out of everyone, why me?" The mother's voice broke, soft and full of pain. Because her blood sings with yours. She will answer only to you. Raylan froze. He stared at the scanner again. The human DNA wasn't just random. It was a match. His lineage, the child, wasn't just half human. She was connected to him. He stumbled back, breath sharp. No, that's not possible. The mother cut him off. Not you. Not directly. But your kind. Your bloodline. She carries it. And that is why you can wake her. Raylan's mind swirled. Questions fought inside him. Who had started this? Why did humans create such a child? And why bury the truth? But there was no time for answers. The child's glow flickered again, dimming. Her tiny breaths grew weaker. Raylan knelt quickly, pulling out another tool from his kit, a pulse stimulator. It was meant for human hearts, not alien ones. His hands shook. One wrong move could end her life. The mother's voice pressed into him, sharp and desperate. Trust your blood. Trust her. She is both of us. She can live. He placed the device on her chest. The scanner beeped a warning, incompatible. Unsafe. He ignored it. He pressed the trigger. A small shock pulsed through the child's body. Her tiny chest rose higher, then fell. For a moment, nothing. Then a flicker. Her eyes moved beneath closed lids. A soft sound escaped her lips, like the beginning of a breath. Raylan felt his throat tighten. She's responding. The mother leaned close, her face full of fear and hope. Again, Raylan triggered another pulse. This time, the glow in the child's veins spread wider, brighter. The blue light pulsed across her body like rivers of life, waking inside her. Her tiny fingers curled, clutching at the air. Raylan's heart leaped. She's fighting. But then, the chamber shook. A loud crash thundered through the ruins. The hunters had found their trail again. The mother snarled, her limbs rising once more. They come. Always, they come. Raylan stood, the child still weak, but alive in his arms. His voice was firm now, filled with something new. Then we'll keep her safe. Both of us. No matter what it takes. The mother looked at him, her eyes softening for the first time. You speak like one of us now. Not only human. The chamber's walls pulsed again, brighter, almost as if answering her words. The child's glow matched it, stronger now, though her eyes remained closed. Raylan realized it then. This was no ordinary child. She was a key, a living bridge between two species who had always feared EA. The human astronaut floated in silence. His small ship drifted like a ghost in the endless dark of space. The stars outside did not shine with comfort. They looked cold, sharp, and very far away. Inside the cockpit, warning lights blinked in red. The oxygen meter showed less than half. The power core was weak. He had no clear plan to reach home. He leaned back in his seat, breathing slow, trying to stay calm. The silence of deep space was heavy, pressing on his ears. Only the low hum of failing systems kept him company. Then, suddenly, the silence broke. A voice, faint but clear, came through the communicator. Human. Please help me. The astronaut froze. His heart raced. The voice was not human. It carried a strange echo, as if many tones spoke at once. The sound was desperate, trembling with fear. He looked at his screens. No signal should have been there. He was in a dead zone, far from colonies, far from trade routes. No human ships, no friendly stations. Only black sky and distant stars. The voice came again. Louder now, my baby won't wake up. Please, help her, human. The astronaut felt chills on his skin. He turned on the scanners. A weak life signal appeared, flickering on the edge of the radar. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat about to stop. He leaned closer to the screen. What is this? He thought. The signal was not human. Its structure was different, alien. Yet, it was crying out to him. He tapped the communicator. This is Captain Raylan of Earth Fleet. Who is this? Repeat, who is calling? There was only silence. A long pause, broken by static. Then the voice returned, shaking and broken. She will die. Help her. Only you can. The astronaut's chest tightened. It was the sound of a mother begging. A mother in terror. He could hear her breath, heavy and uneven, like she was carrying a great weight. He tried to ask more. Who are you? Where are you? Explain, but the message cut. The signal grew weaker, fading into static. Raylan stared at the scanner. The life sign still blinked, but it was unstable. It looked like it would vanish at any moment. He sat frozen. Logic screamed inside his head. This is not my problem. This is alien business. Stay away. I must save myself first. But another voice whispered inside him. What if it was a human mother? What if it was your child? Would you ignore the call? Raylan clenched his fists. He had seen death before, in battles between humans and alien factions. He had sworn he would never again ignore a cry for help, no matter whose voice it carried. He adjusted the controls. All right, let's see who you are. The engines roared weakly, pushing the ship toward the signal. The planet came into view, a strange glowing sphere covered in green clouds. Its surface shimmered with blue light, like oceans of energy instead of water. As he descended, his ship shook violently. Storms raged in the upper atmosphere. Lightning flashed, bright and alien, striking across the clouds. His scanners went crazy, confused by the strange energy of the world. But the signal remained, faint, waiting, begging. Raylan gritted his teeth and forced the ship through turbulence. The hull rattled. Warning alarms screamed, but he held the controls steady. He had made his choice. Finally, he broke through the storm and reached lower skies. The view below made him hold his breath. Ruins the land was covered in massive, broken structures. Towers bent and shattered, as if some great war had torn them apart. Glowing rivers of green energy cut through the land like scars. Strange shapes, like giant skeletons of machines, lay half buried in the ground, and there, in the middle of the ruins, a small light blinked the source of the signal. Raylan brought the ship down. Engines kicking up dust and glowing sparks from the ground. The ship landed hard, but safe. The noise faded into silence again. He stood, helmet ready, and stared at the door. His pulse thundered. He didn't know what waited outside. The communicator crackled once more. The same voice, now weaker than before, whispered, "Please." Hurry. Raylan took a deep breath. He opened the airlock. The alien world stretched before him, strange and haunting. The ruins towered like dead giants. The air glowed faint green, heavy with energy. And then he saw her. Not far from his ship, a tall figure stood. Her body was thin, insect-like, with dark, armor-like skin. Her eyes were large, shining faint blue in the dim light. She held something in her arms, small, limp, and still. The astronaut felt his heart sink. It was a child. The alien mother turned to him, her face twisted with pain and fear. "Please," she whispered, her voice shaking, "my baby." "Won't wake up?" The astronaut froze. He was not ready for this. He had faced war, battles, even death. But this moment felt heavier than all of it. The child's body lay unmoving, fragile in her arms. The faint signal on his scanner matched it life, but fading fast. Raylan stepped forward slowly. He could feel the weight of destiny pressing down on him. He had come searching for survival. But instead, he had found a desperate mother, a dying child, and a mystery that would change everything. In that silent, broken land, a single question burned in his mind. Why me? Why did she call a human? The answer was hidden, waiting in the shadows of the ruins. But one thing was certain. This was only the beginning. The alien mother stood in silence, her tall figure shaking in the green glow of the ruined land. Her arms cradled the small body of her child, holding it close as if her own warmth could keep the little one alive. Raylan, the human astronaut, took slow steps forward. His boots crunched against the dust of broken stone. The air felt thick, almost alive, buzzing with unseen energy. Every breath inside his helmet came heavy and shallow. He stopped a few feet away, his eyes fixed on the child. The small figure looked fragile, no larger than a human toddler. Its skin was pale silver, with faint blue lines running like veins across the surface. Its chest rose once, then stopped, then rose again very faintly. The mother's voice trembled. Please, help her. She will not wake. Raylan swallowed. He was trained to fight, to survive, not to play doctor for alien children. His hands felt clumsy inside his gloves. Still, something inside him pushed forward, the same instinct that had made him land here in the first place. He knelt down. I'll look, he said softly, though he knew she may not understand his words. But she did. Her huge eyes blinked, full of hope and fear. Raylan slowly reached for his medical scanner. The small device blinked with blue light as he passed it over the child. Strange readings filled the screen, symbols and numbers that made no sense. The DNA pattern was unlike anything in his system, and yet, one small line made his heart skip a beat. A piece of the child's code was familiar. Human, he froze, staring at the display. No, that can't be right. Before he could think further, a sharp sound echoed through the ruins. A low metallic hum, like engines powering up. The mother's head snapped up, her eyes glowing brighter with fear. They are coming, she hissed. Her voice carried both anger and terror. We must hide. Raylan turned his head, scanning the ruins. In the distance, shadows moved. Shapes like machines crawled along the broken towers, their eyes glowing red in the green mist. They were hunting. Raylan felt his pulse quicken. Whoever they were closing in fast. The mother clutched her child tighter. You must save her, she said again, but this time her voice was sharp. Almost commanding. Raylan wanted answers. Who was she? Why call him? And what were those things in the distance? But there was no time. Survival came first. Follow me, he said, pointing toward his ship. But the mother shook her head violently. No. They will find us in open ground. This way. She turned and moved swiftly into the ruins, her insect-like legs carrying her with surprising grace despite the weight of the child. Raylan hesitated. His ship was the only safe place he trusted, but something told him she knew this land better than he ever could. He followed. The ruins swallowed them. Tall broken walls leaned over them, casting long shadows. Strange markings glowed faintly on the stones, symbols of an alien past. The tunnels twisted and bent, leading them deeper into the forgotten city. The sound of machines grew louder behind them. The hunters were close. Finally, they stopped in a dark chamber beneath the ruins. The mother lowered her child gently onto a flat stone that seemed to glow faintly, like a bed carved from energy itself. Raylan caught his breath, staring around. The chamber walls pulsed with blue light, forming patterns like veins. It felt as if the place itself was alive. The mother's eyes locked onto his. You must try, she said. She is half yours. Raylan's chest tightened. The words struck him like a blade. Half yours? What do you mean? He demanded, his voice echoing in the chamber. She's human. The mother looked down at the child, brushing her hand gently across its face. She is hope. Your kind made her. My kind carried her. Now she will die if you do nothing. Raylan felt his thoughts spin. Humans. Creating hybrid children with aliens. It sounded impossible, yet the DNA scan had already hinted at the truth. His hands trembled as he reached for his medical kit. He injected a small stim into the child's arm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the chest rose higher, a little stronger. But the eyes remained closed. The mother let out a sound part sob, part growl. Not enough. She needs more. Raylan checked his supplies. His medical gear was designed for humans, not aliens. Every move felt like guessing in the dark. One wrong step could kill the child. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The machines were near. Their red glow flickered at the edges of the tunnel.